Good afternoon, all. The program will be starting shortly. Thanks.
Yes, madam.
Oh, good.
Yes, shall we go ahead? And then invite Professor Anjana. Okay.
Good afternoon, all. Dean Research, Professor Anjana Munshi, ma'am. Honorable Speaker of this webinar, Professor Ruma Paul, ma'am. Professor Felix, sir, Head of the Department of Botany. My respected senior colleagues. Professor Amandeep Kaur, ma'am. Dean of School of Engineering and Technology, Central University of Bhatinda. My senior colleagues, Professor Sanjeev, Dr. Pankaj, Dr. Binay, and Dr. Swapnil, teachers, dear students, and all the participants of this webinar. Namaskar to all. Very good afternoon. I welcome all the participants of this webinar on the behalf of Department of Botany, Central University of Punjab. As designated by the United Nations, gender equality is a necessary foundation for a peaceful, prosperous, and sustainable world. Over the last few decades, the international community has worked hard to achieve this and to inspire and engage women and girls in science. Despite this, women and girls are still barred from actively engaging in science all over the world in many parts. Therefore, in 2015, the United Nations General Assembly established 11th February as an International Day of Women and Girls in Science in order to ensure complete and equal access to an engagement in science for women and girls. This has been done for achieving the 2330 Agenda for Sustainable Development Goals. As United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 5 is to achieve gender equality and empower all women and girls. So therefore, today we are celebrating the International Day of Women and Girls in Science. On this occasion, first of all, I would like to invite our Dean Research, Professor Anjana Munshi, ma'am, to say a few words. Ma'am, thank you.
Thank you so much. Madam Ruma, Professor Ruma Pal, our guest speaker today, my colleagues, Professor Sanjeev Thakur, Dr. Felix, and other colleagues from the Department of Botany. It's really a privilege to be a part of this program today. And I'm happy that our university, the Department of Botany, is celebrating this 11th February, which we know that is being celebrated as International Day of Women and Girls in Science. And this is under the auspices of United Nations. And the purpose is to recognize it's not only to recognize the critical role that women and girls play in science, but also not in terms of being the beneficiaries, but also as agents of change. And as you were talking about that, we have Sustainable Goal 5, which is aimed towards gender equality. And we also have, this is also a step forward to accelerate the progress to achieve SDG 6 also, which is clean water and sanitation. We know women are deprived of in many countries. And this is the 7th International Day like being celebrated, like International Day of Women and Girls being celebrated. And the focus is equity, diversity, and inclusion. The day is celebrated globally in different ways, and I'm like happy that CUPB is also doing its bit under the patronage of our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor R.P. Tiwari, and I'm happy that Department of Botany has taken up this initiative this year. And let me tell you that we know women have contributed to science in various ways. But unfortunately, the work of women scientists is underrepresented. Okay, and for example, we know the very basic structure of DNA was whenever you talk about structure of DNA, nobody talks about Rosalind Franklin. We know actually it was her, base which made Watson and Crick to come up with the helical structure of DNA. And a couple of months back, we had arranged a lecture by Professor Balram. And we were really like surprised to know that there was a like scientist known as June Almeida, who actually, after this pandemic of COVID-19, emerged as a pioneer of virus imaging. And her work has been roaring back in this era of pandemic, because people have started understanding what is it that actually she contributed. And this is really unfortunate that we have only 12% of members of National Science Academies are women. But there is one, one point of satisfaction which I would like to share is that women have actually achieved parity in some areas, especially in numbers, as far as life sciences research is concerned in many countries. There are lag periods. We as women, we have to face a number of lag, like we sometimes have to undergo those lag periods, and like we getting married, childbirth, and all those things, they put sometimes they put you a foot back. But then one has to the message here is that women should keep going. Okay, and the girls should be this kind of teaching should go at the level of the school, and girls should be told that there might be a lag periods in between, but please don't give up. And that scientific temper has to be inculcated right at the school level. And we know that unfortunately in India we have dropouts in schools, especially as far as female students are concerned. So we need to work towards those things. At least we can retain the girls who are going to school. They are retained till they at least reach a particular level. And Department of Science and Technology has also they have introduced many schemes which are aimed to help women. There are also opportunities given to women who had, like, if they are doctorates, and then there was a period where they could not contribute anything. There are schemes where they can come back and join and then proceed further. Similarly, there are certain financial schemes also. We know DST has also introduced Power Grant for women, where those women, that platform is open only for women to apply, and they can submit their project proposals. And therefore, I think we are moving slowly to make this, reduce this gender gap as far as the contribution of men and women in science is concerned. But still we are lagging like far behind. I have only one word to say. Like, I would just like to say that this is for women to learn that nobody gives you power, you just take it. So you can, the women can take that power by contributing in science. Don't give up, keep working. That is the message I would like to give to all my colleagues in the university, and all the students who are working, whether they are in PhD, doing their PhDs or MSc. So that's what I would like to say. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to be a part of this program today.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you so much for highlighting the theme of 7th International Day of Women and Girls in Science, and also highlighting like how women can contribute to science, but also how we as a woman can overcome the challenges which we face during our career development. Thank you so much, ma'am. Now, I would like to invite Professor Monisha Dhiman, ma'am, IQAC Director, Central University of Punjab, to say a few words.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you very much. Thank you for this opportunity, and thank you, Professor Anna Munshi. I think this was quite good, the way you said most of the things which as a women we think. So I think most of the things were already talked about. Yes, lag phases there can be, and one thing which I want to add, as a women, yes, we have those lag phases when we get married, during when we have baby's child and all that. But one thing which starts from the very early childhood, that is, even people have social stigmas, even during menstruation. If the high dropout rates, girls are, it's such a bad thing that during the menstruation, that those phases are also bad, that girls don't want to go to the schools. So we need to enhance the facilities in the schools, so that high dropout rate which ma'am was talking about, that's really very high in schools, and especially girls after 9th, 10th and government schools, that's very, very high. So if we start those things from the school level, where we say, okay, that's a normal physiology and you have to handle it, and that's also part of womanhood. So those things are not there. So if we start doing that thing from school level, and it's a responsibility of the parents, it should not come as a something which will inhibit us to progress further. So that is definitely the high dropout rates in the schools. That is very, very much because of this thing which girls think that because toilets are not good, if they have to use washrooms, they are not there. So those things are ultimately, they think that, okay, it's better, rather than having some something embarrassment, it's better to not to go to the school. So those things are something very important which at school level has to be enhanced. And yes, ma'am, as ma'am said that, yes, don't give up. And as we always say, women itself has men in it. So our name, our word itself says that, okay, there cannot be anything cannot be complete without us. So we are the creators. We give birth to child. We start things. So everything starts from our women. So it's a mother, it's a sister, everything. So I think we have to be proud of that. And I, as my career, because that was just general things which I wanted to talk about. But as a career, yes, there are challenges, but yes, we don't have to give up. We have to keep on taking the challenges, and as soon as there is a solution for everything. So if there is a problem, then there will be a solution for that, and just we have to look for it. Don't give up and keep on trying. And definitely there can be some lag phases where you think that you cannot do it, but no, there cannot be. Once you keep on trying, and most of us, everybody we have child, we have families to look after, but yes, we are balancing things. So definitely, if you know how to balance, you know how to get the things done, then everything is possible. So that would be the thing from my side. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you so much for your inspirational words. And yes, as a women, we face many challenges, and sometimes it is really difficult to balance the personal, professional, and academic life. But as I can see, like both of you, Professor Anjana Munshi ma'am, as well as you, Professor Monisha Diman ma'am, like you are one of the examples that we can see you as an example to progress in our lives and to overcome, like, our challenges, and we can learn from you. So now, thank you so much, ma'am. Now I would like to invite Professor Amandeep Kaur, Dean of School of Engineering and Technology, to say a few words on this occasion.
So thanks a lot for inviting me. I thought I'm late, so I'll just listen. But this is a very special day for us, being in sciences. And so it was a beautiful journey, I feel, to be in sciences. It puts up different challenges. So you are learning throughout your life, you are unlearning and relearning. And it was a beautiful journey which started from a village. So I basically belong from a rural area, but they believed in teaching their daughters, but it was just sending them to some finishing colleges where they just do their graduation, get married, and no one thought about jobs and being financially independent. So I was not very good in my studies when I was a small kid till my first class. So I got that tag, she'll never study, so she'll just do her graduation, get married, and look after her home. But things changed because of my teachers, I think. And so from the very beginning, I thought I have to be financially independent. So I never wanted to do a simple graduation and get married. They felt that earning means men are going to earn. So I went into engineering, and during our times, we had a class of 100 with 3 girls in electronics. So it was a beautiful journey, learning, and there were so many challenges. So you get married after your BTech, and you have a kid when I was doing my MTech, my PhD. So it was going in parallel, staying in a joint family with my in-laws, trying to balance the things. Always it was not possible. But when I look back today, it's very beautiful. And I love this area, this field, always learning something new. And that's all about myself. So it'll be great listening to other speakers. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for sharing your inspiring journey. And definitely it will motivate our especially young women students to take it as an example. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you. So now, next, I would like to invite Professor Sanjeev Thakur, sir, to say a few words on this occasion. Sir. Professor Sanjeev, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone, especially the scientific ladies or ladies in a scientific profession. My congratulations to all of you. This is much needed. This was, in fact, much needed that, ladies' success or female success needs to be celebrated. So this is my heartiest congratulations. No doubt, females were ignored in past, but today everyone is equal. So I think that this is enough from my side. Congratulations to all of you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Now I would like to invite Professor Felix, sir, head of the Department of Botany, to say a few words. Professor Felix.
Yeah, hi everybody, and thanks for having me here. And today is a very important day, and I congratulate Dr. Renuka for organizing this event with all the women leaders of the university. So of course the university have got in the leadership roles. Many of the female faculties have been on, and I congratulate our Professor Tiwari, Raghavendra Tiwari sir, our Honorable Vice Chancellor, for his decision for the women empowerment, as well as to support our Prime Minister's very famous the mission on Beti Bachao, Beti Pathao. So yes, so this is a very important day for all the women in science, and I can see that we have several new faculty recruitment in this university. Recently we had it, out of which 8 new faculties were recruited, so that is a very, very important thing. And now that we have 35 faculties in this university who are women. And yes, so the Central University of Punjab is really committed on women empowerment. And of course, this event is registered with the UN. Okay, so it's basically, yes, so this year we are actually looking at the moving from recovery during the COVID time to the rediscovery. Of course, we have to connect with pre-COVID-19 time, isn't it? So that is the idea behind this particular event. And please stay tuned. And those who are participating in today's event, you're going to get a certificate. And we'll be sharing the link, the feedback link. You please, fill in the feedback link and submit it. I can see large number of participants because, of course, our chief guest of today, Professor Ruma Pal, is a well-accomplished scientist working on algal biotechnology for many decades in one of the premier institute, one of the oldest, I would say, central. It's a University of Kolkata. Kolkata University is one of the very prestigious institute in India, where she had been heading And of course, she is still heading the Algal Biotechnology unit, and she is sharing her life journey. So I'm really excited to hear your story, ma'am. Looking forward to it. And I can see the large number of participants all around the world. Even I can see some participants are from South Africa. I can see a name called Luveshan Ramana, perhaps through the contacts of Dr. Renuka. Because she just returned from South Africa here. So very best. I'm really looking forward to the next our chief guest and her story. Yes, thank you for having me here. My best wishes.
Thank you so much, Felix, sir, for giving an overview of our women empowerment in the Central University of Punjab. And also thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to organize this event. Thank you so much. Now I would like to introduce our honorable speaker, Professor Ruma Paul. So Professor Ruma Paul, it is our great pleasure and honor to have you on this occasion of the celebrations of International Day of Women and Girls in Science. Thank you, ma'am. Professor Ruma Paul is an eminent scientist and a professor in algology in the Department of Botany, University of Calcutta. She did her master's and PhD at the same university, and she completed her PhD in algal phytogenetics in 1989 under the guidance of Professor A.K. Sharma as a coordinator, who is a famous Indian cytogenetist, cell biologist, and cytochemist, and Professor Prabir Chatterjee as a supervisor, who is an eminent phycologist. She joined as an in-charge teacher in 2000 in the University of Calcutta, and now she has 35 years of experience in the field of algal biotechnology and has explored algal diversity from different niches as well. Her research interests are in algal nanobiotechnology, bioremediation, aquaculture, cancer biology, and carbon sequestration. Professor Paul has completed 15 government projects and published 133 scientific articles and holds 3 patents. She is the author of 3 books and has produced 14 PhD students. Professor Paul is a fellow of the West Bengal Academy of Science and Technology, India, and vice president of the Indian Botanical Society. Along with this, she is also a member of the Scientific Advisory Committee and the Technical Expert Committee of various scientific government organizations. She is the recipient of Professor S.C. Dikshit Award from the Indian Botanical Society, New Delhi. Professor Paul has visited many countries as an invited scientist and delivered talks in USA, Japan, China, Thailand, Singapore, Egypt, Bangladesh, and Denmark. So now I would like to invite our honorable speaker, Professor Ruma Paul, ma'am, to enlighten the participants and students of this webinar and share her academic and professional life experiences. Professor Ruma Paul, ma'am.
Thank you. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Thank you very much. It is really a good experience for me, and my heartiest thanks to the organizer, Dr. Felix Bust and Renuka, and the Vice Chancellor and all dignitaries, Dean Science of Punjab University, for giving me an opportunity in this auspicious occasion. Actually, we used to give our scientific lectures throughout, but when invitation came to me, actually Renuka told me several times that you have to tell your journey, ma'am. So it was difficult for me to just make it compact my 40 years journey as a research scholar to scientist to teacher, whatever you mean. I tried. I will tell this story of my life, or you can say the achievement of scientific achievement of my life. Though I don't even consider me as a woman, I always consider me as a human. So it is not a very practical problem for me, the whether women can do or not. In that principle, I don't believe. And I also don't support that Women's Day. What is Women's Day? 365 days are Women's Day. So this is my concept. I always uh, tell against these all these days, women days and all, because I always think if women wants, they can do everything. And there are several examples. And you can say this is inborn character of particular woman. It may be. Because one story I can say, we are two sisters. Our upbringing was same. We both of us did master degree, but my younger sister, she is now housewife. So what you will see, what you will say. So attitude, woman's attitude, it may be inborn or maybe sometimes it is acquired in some specific cases. So uh, I don't believe what I say. I don't believe on Women's Day, but I like to share my experience. We are women, we have to take the responsibility of family, we have to take the responsibility of our parents and in-laws house and children, everything. But if we want, we can continue. So may I go to my presentation?
Yeah, yes, you can.
Yes, ma'am.
Is it coming?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I thought I will just compile my journey. You can say it is totally an academic journey, and I enjoyed it throughout my life. Though there was struggle, of course, in everyone's life. For a boy, also there is struggle. So for a girl or woman, they have also struggle. It may be in different way, but as Renuka told me to tell the journey, so I will start my. Uh, it is not going. Yeah. So I started my scientific career as UGC project fellow in Center of Advanced Study in Cell and Chromosome Research in Department of Botany, University of Calcutta. You know, our department of botany is the oldest center of advanced study, UGC funded, and it under uh, leadership of Professor A.K. Sharma, world famous cytogeneticist. But I joined at Dr. Probit Chatterjee at that center only. And algae, you know, one of the most important group of plant kingdom. Uh, my sir Probir Babu was in charge teacher, so I joined his laboratory in the year 1981. And I submitted my thesis in 1985, but I was awarded in 1989. After that, I actually opted the research career. You know that at this point, I must say that research, if you don't have passion, don't go for research, because it is very tough line, it is challenging line, but as well as it is very interesting line. In this line only, if you take research as your profession, you can get new things every day. Not in any other profession, you will get new things every day. If you are a bank employee, every day same type of work you have to do. You have to teach, if it is, you are teacher in a school or undergraduate college, you have to follow the syllabus, same syllabus year after another. But if you are teacher at university level and if you are engaged in active research, then only you can do new things uh, day after another day. But that is challenging also. You may fail. So if you have passion, then only I also say my students, they don't do research just for going and coming to lab and coming back to home, again going lab and coming back home. This is not the process. you have to enter into the thought process of research. And now, recently research is in for developed countries, it is at higher level. So it is far higher level than India. So being an Indian girl, you have to think of that level. Then only you will be able to cross the barrier. Barrier means the level. And until and unless you can cross the level, you won't get any fund. So your research will end in such a way, in mid of the path, that you won't able to get any professional job. Like after graduation, the competitive job, bank and all, rail and LIC or government service, any, and you won't get any fund, or you won't get any job in higher education also. In higher education, in college and especially at university, selection will be based on your research standard, not on your research line. So that standard you have to fix for yourself. That is where science and in research. In research, you have to fix your standard, and you are the only player along with your guide. That is very important. So I was a PhD awarded in the year 1989, and after that, and this is my thesis, an investigation of various cytological techniques in delineating the cell and chromosome behavior in caries. It's very old one. And this is my picture when I was awarded. And the cytogenetics, our department was the laboratory of cytogenetics. So we did this cytogenetical research on Cara, the highly evolved algae. And it was very successful story, because we draw the evolutionary line depending upon polyploidy, DNA content, evolutionary pattern. But after that, one problem, or you can say that turning point of my life, because in the year 1990, my PhD guide suddenly he died at the age of 51 only, when he was only 51 of age. He was very academic one. I learned whatever research from him only. Just he didn't instruct me like this bookish type. He said, you think, you, and he used to allowed me always whatever I want to do. Whatever I want to do. I also used to tell my students that research is not the practical classes. What I will say, you will do. You have to find out the pathway. So if anybody has the passion in research, then he or she will be successful. That is sure. So when he died in 1990, I just got the doctorate degree. And obviously my husband is from professional life. He said, you come to the professional world, the competitive exam and all, and you just continue as a, because in your guide also died, and there is no scope in research in India. So professional person always used to say that in research is very few scope. That is true, because you have to prove yourself that you are very good in research. So it was a turning point of my life when in 1990 I received both a CSR Research Associateship and DST Young Scientist in this Science and Societal program on spirulina cultivation at rural level. At that time, in 1990, before that, I completed that CSR Senior Fellowship, and it was an 88, 90. I was Senior Research Fellow in CSR. And I told my sir that, sir, I think if I want to survive in research line, I have to go for some applied work, because only cytogenetics of Cara and algae, I won't be able to proceed much in Indian context. That time, these facilities, laboratory facilities were so not very good. Though our department was advanced center in cell and chromosome research, still only the cytological structures, chromosome structures we can study. So I won't be able to go further. Then my research guide, I already told you that my research guide was very much flexible and he was very learned person, very down to earth. He said, okay, whatever you want, you can opt. Not that my line of research is cytogenetics, so you have to follow. He was not like that person. So I applied for both phytoremediation for CSIR RA and micropropagation and this cultivation. Rural level, spirulina was very hot topic at that time. So I applied, I received both the project. And then he died and I was really in problem. But I thought I have to overcome. That time our HOD, the then HOD led Professor Shumitra Sen, she was also one very active woman scientist. So she gave me the opportunity. She said, as you are research associate, you can continue in our department. Not that you are research guide expert, so you won't be. I will sign your paper, you do yourself. So that opportunity actually gave me, and that was my turning point of my life. As Sumitra gave me opportunity to continue the research in this department without any guide, and to run the DST Young Scientist project also. I used to take fellowship from one project. So after that, I thought this research is my career. But you know, in India, it is very difficult to run with research but at that time it was my challenge, you know. And regarding being a woman, regarding my family, I said my family was very nuclear family. So my son, he was only 2 years old, but at the age of 3 or 4 years, he used to know that my mother is a research scholar and she used to work with algae, because I always used to take him in my problems. You see, these are the scums on the ponds, we can make it food, we can make it fuel, we can make it. But so so whole family was involved, that no, she has taken the research. That is my point, to say that always I used to say my research scholars, girl research scholars, you know, most of the, you will be happy knowing today that most of the scholars of my lab are lady, girl, and they are doing very well. After research also, they are continuing. So I also used to say them, you have to be proof that your research is very valuable to home also, in in-laws house also. If you bunk the lab and if you go to a marriage house, then in-laws members will also understand that he or she can she can take leave for other cause. So you have to sacrifice many things for research. That is the challenge. If you bunk lab at any cost, then when mother-in-law will be ill, then you will say my lab is very important. It shouldn't be. In that case, you have to sacrifice for several invitation also, party also during lab time. You go when there is holiday or something like. I must say, nowadays, though we always used to say the Women's Day, girls are not serious always. Boys are much more serious about research, because always our Indian girls think, if I fail, I will go for anything else. But boys, they know I have to just follow, I have to run my family. So girls should have that mentality. They will develop within them. But all girls are not so serious, I must say. Though if we make like Women's Day like this, there won't be any change if girls themselves do not change from their inner side. That is my point. So I crossed the barrier. I must say I crossed the barrier, taking research as my career, and I continued my research projects one after another from 1981 to 1997. That was 16 years. 16 years, and I worked in as scientist in some NGO also, the environmental related NGO. So in this way, I continued my research career, published lots of papers. So when I, that time, actually our time was very bad time, I must say, because that time women were unsuitable for government college service in our state. So we were, many of my friends and all, they stopped their career because there was no chance of the girls in government service, as there is transfer. But after that, in 1995, I think, some girl, they actually went to court, and that this decision was changed. And they, after that only in West Bengal, girls were selected in government service. So we didn't get any service from, I didn't get any service from 1980, permanent service, of course, from 1981 to 1996 in any colleges and school. And 1997, I was selected for an government aided college, Narasingho Datta College, degree college. And problem is that when, if you are very senior, and when I used to go for interview, the commissioner or the chairman of the College Service Commission or Public Service Commission, they used to say, you are very senior, why you are coming here? I didn't get a job, so I am coming here. So afterwards in 2000, I got the job in our university only, our department. My research guide expired in 1990, and I joined the department again after servicing in government college, non-government college, and an NGO for 6 years. I came back to my department as an in-charge teacher of phycology. So after 2000, journey was not very tough because I'm a faculty, but it was tough regarding my research and development. Why? Because there was no phycology lab at that time. My stream was totally, after my sir's demise, no in-charge teacher was there. So when I rejoined here again after 6 years gap, or 10 years gap, you must say, because my sir died on 1990. Then I found there is no lab. So the then HOD, he gave me the room, which was nothing but just disastrous condition, no instrument, no microscope, now nothing. So only one microscope they gave me, and they said, you develop your laboratory. So it was again a challenge for me, as I was very much experienced at that time research. One time was there, I used to submit 3, 4, 5 or 6 projects at a time to get it. Otherwise, how can I develop my lab? It was zero, from scratch value I have to develop. And as it is my known department, so it was a bit easy because many people known to me, I worked here. So after that, I took the line of research on the algae only, on the algal diversity study, molecular phylogeny, algal biotechnology, and ecological modeling in West Bengal scenario. And under this algal biotechnology field, nanotechnology, aquaculture, and phycoremediation. These are my line of research. I'm not going to tell very deep in my research, but I will just give you just glimpses. So after till date, total number of research paper is 133, number of books 3, patents 3 already completed, 1 filed, and number of PhD students registered and awarded 20, and number of government funded projects completed in last these 20 years is 15. And all are my citation index and all research publication related. Now, algal diversity study of West Bengal I started after joining here, because this West Bengal is a state, you will get different ecological niches. The eastern part in Himalaya and foothills of these water bodies, and the metropolitan cities are there, and the coastal area, this coastal sea coast, and the Sundarban. Sundarban is the mangrove forest. So having all these different types of ecological pockets or ecological niches, we started working on the algal diversity study just to get the, just to know the biomass or the source, resource by which we can proceed for biotechnology. These are the algal resources of Sundarban, different locations where algae can grow profusely, because most of the part of the Sundarban is undisturbed. So blooms come, and they are very, they play a very important role to maintain the environment of Sundarban. So different locations are there at Sundarban. You know, this is one species of Cladophora nitalopsis. It grows like mosses, you know, on the soil, where the actually low tide and high tides are there. And several areas of Sundarban show the luxuriant growth of different algae, blue-green algae, green algae, and these are trentifolia on the tree bark. Now, main point of algal research, you all know that there is identification and characterization. That is very important, because algae are very minute and they have simple character. So not only the light microscopic studies are sufficient to identify, but that electron microscopical study and the molecular studies, phylogenetic studies are needed for proper identification. And for this fact study for population identification based on their fluorescence property of the pigments, those are also very important. So several of my students, they were engaged in doing all these research. These are some cyanobacteria from my student Srimonti Banerjee. She worked on this cyanobacteria, collected several cyanobacteria from different areas of Sundarban. And then different in this Kolkata is a metropolitan city with a high pollution load and congested population. It is very congested city also. Till the water bodies of Kolkata mainly, actually mainly we recorded from water bodies of Calcutta, the green microalgae, especially from chlorococcales and all. And Sundarban unit is very rich source of algae, and many green filamentous algae and phytoplanktons and other groups are available. And the diatoms, my another student Rahul Bose is working on diatoms taxonomy and its biotechnological aspects. So and coastal diatoms are also very interesting. They are different types than the freshwater diatoms, you know well. So one of my students, Dr. Rovik Chaudhary, worked on this coastal diatoms. Now, as my point, interesting aspect of research was algal biotechnology. So we established one algal culture, cultivation and biomass processing unit at Calcutta University campus. The fund was from UGC UP grant and CSIR fund. And this unit is exclusively for this after isolation, the cultivation process. You know, any algal biotechnological program actually depends on the biomass cultivation. The biomass are needed. So the main principle was the isolation and the establishment of culture in this unit, and then biomass development. This is the rooftop of that building. We used to cultivate the green algae or cyanobacteria for different purposes. These are also euglena, you know, this cultivation of euglena in this bioreactor type structure. And whatever algae we cultivate, we use for different purpose. What I told you in the aquaculture, use of algae in aquaculture is very useful and very promising and profitable also. because really especially in Sundarban area, many people are working on this. Many people, their livelihood is fishing, and Sundarban is a rich source for algae also. So we used to make the awareness program there, because one of my aim was to do this, to take the technology to the rural level, from lab to land. That was my one of my aim of my research. So we do this program at the field level. The different, after analyzing composition of different algal mass, we used to give the food at the this is actually the fishery, the hatchery of government of West Bengal, and for the larvae of the this prawn, and they gave very good results from this. These are the the fish, shrimp larvae feeding algal food, and they were very good in their health and coloration. These are different fish tried, and after that, after this formulating the fish feed, we used to train the rural people of West Bengal, and my mainly my girl students. They were very good in this training purpose. They used to go regularly to the villagers, used to take classes and demonstration class, and then they just give the training to the rural people for applying at the pond system as well, not only the in the your aquarium, but in pond also. Now, after completion of the training, the rural people, they applied these algae. You see the fish pond where algae are growing naturally. So we trained them to use these algal biomass of the rural area in a sustainable way. They prepared their feed from that biomass, applied, and they get very good results in their feed productivity. And they are continuing at the Sundarban region. So we were also there in CSIR Nimitli program, Government of India, for this algae biodiesel program. So algal biodiesel was made from, it was All India Network program, and CSIR, this Bhavnagar, the CSIR laboratory, they were coordinating that. And we actually were able to run the vehicle from the algal biodiesel after analyzing the lipid nature and this neutral lipid content of different microalgae and the content and nature. And these are the algal biodiesel, what was prepared in our laboratory and analyzed, and it gave very good results. Now, phyco nanobiotechnology, algae in nanobiotechnology, they have also very good effect. This nanobiotechnology is a very promising field, all of you know. But algal biomass, it is the very interesting point, because the whole biomass are able to reduce the metal, not only the gold, not only the gold, silver, or any type precious metals, but different types of metals, nanometals can be produced from the algal biomass. And you see several types of gold nanoparticles produced intracellularly or extracellularly by different algae, which are exploited in different purposes. So the intracellular gold nanogold deposition or extracellular nanogold deposition can be detected under microscope by under electron microscope. And not only pure metal, but gold silver nano alloy, that is also very important, which was prepared by the algae. And one of my student, P.R. Roy Chaudhary, she completed her project, Dr. P.R. Roy Chaudhary. Now she is in postdoc research in Poland on that nano metals. And another experiment, we also prepared this nano iron. nano iron, and these nano irons showing different fluorescence property, magnetofluorescence property, and these are applicable for different environmental engineering also, for metal removal and all. These nano iron particles were used and gave good results. These are the nano iron produced by different cyanobacteria, and they can remove the chromium from the environmentally polluted water, and they gave very good results. And whatever the nanoparticle produced, it can, algae can produce extracellularly also. That is very interesting aspect of algae, because they secrete many compounds and they have the extracellular sheath and all. And you see so if the production is at extracellular level, then these nanoparticles can be used easily without any extraction cost. And these are the gold nanoparticle produced by large scale gold nanoparticle production by algae. And silver, when nano silver is produced by this algae, it was also work of Dr. P.R. Roy Choudhury. It is a reduction process, the silver nitrate is first the silver and then nano silver. And following this principle, the reduction of the silver to nano silver, it was we actually created the device for fruit preservation, because when algae absorb reduce the silver to nano silver, so naturally an anaerobic environment is produced, and in this anaerobic environment the fruits can be preserved at room temperature. So in collaboration with Department of Biochemistry of our university, Dr. Ranjan Dasgupta, my student P.R. Roy Choudhury, he made a device, and it was actually patented. This is the fruit preservation unit, is designed. There is a tray. It is dark because silver nitrate is reduced to silver, and it has in the tray. If you keep the grapes or any other fruits, and on the net, and below that, in the chamber, the algae and the metal is there, metal solution, then totally anaerobic environment, micro environment will be produced, and in which fruit can be preserved. This is after 1 month to keeping these grapes in room temperature. So in all other condition, you see in control, only silver nitrate and only the cyanobacteria, all are rotten, but where the cyanobacteria and silver nitrate is there in the chamber, then the fruits will remain fresh within 1 month. Now, diatoms is also very good in nanobiotechnology. This diatom group is very interesting. They have one siliceous frustule covering the cell. So this diatom frustules itself, they are made up of nanosilica. So if you cultivate diatom, then you are actually cultivating some nanosilica particles also. So that nanosilica are very interesting. Diatom frustule, you see under electron microscope, it is very ornamentation is very nice, and their pattern is very specific. And my student Rahul Bose worked on it. These diatom frustules can be used as their platform for these fluorescent silica silver conjugate synthesis. You see, they are just leaf-like structure on the silica silver conjugate, and these are very important in different medical properties, optoluminescence property. And we designed this nano chip from this diatom frustule in collaboration with this Department of Electronics and Telecommunication of our university. Dr. Sanatan is working with us, and this bio nano chip is very good for application for different purposes. And another of our line of research were phycoremediation and environmental engineering. West Bengal, it was our West Bengal DST this project in North 24 Parganas. One of the district of West Bengal is was heavily infected by arsenic. So we started working on the algal flora of that arsenic contaminated area, where people are suffering from different arsenic mediated diseases. So we collected and we studied the algal flora over there. Mainly cyanobacteria grow with different deform structure. So we studied the in vitro, means we created the arsenic contaminated environment in our laboratory, and the from the in situ, the infected area, we collected the algae, cyanobacteria over there to know the resistant property. The algae were found to be very resistant there. So we also these accumulation kinetics, gene response for this resistance nature. And after observing the different metal, this is actually lead and chromium, how the surface modulation is there, we actually designed one this algae biofilter, because several algae are there which actually secrete the polysaccharides surrounding the, especially cyanobacteria, surrounding their thallus. And this polysaccharide can actually absorb the metals, these, whether it is arsenic, lead, or chromium, several metals are adsorbed on the surface. So we proposed one design to make the algal biofilter, and we implemented at the rural level. And it was a program for supplying this arsenic-free drinking water to that village. And another environmental engineering aspect we took in this tannery wastewater treatment plant. In tannery, the for different purposes of this leather treatment, leather technology, the chromium actually developed for this preparation of this leather. And this chromium we took to phytoremediation purpose, this chromium water. And after their screening, after they're removing the pollutants in the tannery waste, the one pond we introduced there is high rate algal pond. They have one pond, the algae grow naturally, but we used to target this pond. We studied the metal accumulation process there, and in that case the chemical treatment is not needed. So in this way, the phycoremediation of tannery wastewater, this is also very successful. Work is going on. One of my student, Imon, is working on that. These are the cyanobacteria. They remove the chromium from the chrome water with several changes. And not only that, the cyanobacteria actually produce the nanochromium also from the chrome water of the tannery waste. And after analyzing the phycoremediation process would be established, and we will talk with the leather industry if they can give us the opportunity to do that at their site. Now, with these scientific journeys, I know my students are working and they are doing well in the science, but I feel we have some societal development, we have some responsibility in societal development also. Being scientist and utilizing the government fund, both from state and central government. So we established one research foundation, and I was there as founder secretary. Till date, I am secretary of that foundation, and it is in memory of my teacher, late Dr. Probit Chatterjee. As an activity of the foundation, we have other lab to land program, awareness program, rural biotechnology, and different social outreach program also from our phycology lab and Probit Chatterjee Research Foundation. This is our foundation established in 2003 in memory of my sir, Dr. late Probit Chatterjee. Now total life members is 150. We used to organize memorial lecture. Many of the renowned algalologist, Professor L.C. Rai, Professor late H.D. Kumar and Professor S.P. Odhikari and many of the renowned scientists, Professor Arun Lahiri Mojumdar, they gave the memorial lecture, and many algologists all over India actually delivered memorial lecture for the development of the students, especially the to create the common platform. And we used to organize the workshop and the exhibition just to give the training to young researcher and young faculty members of different universities and colleges in modern algal technologies. Every year we used to give this, organize this through the through our foundation. Not only that, we used to organize different educational trip, and it is the common platform where teacher, research scholar and MSc student can visit for identification and collection of algae. And our outreach now, recently we have started this social outreach program and giving the funds to the, and this is rural biotechnological program where we used to give training and for the rural PP how to cultivate algae and for biofertilizer application at Sundarban area. This is algae hub at Basanti Sundarban. We just initiated. We're trying to develop to do the this biotechnological program there. And these are actually the rural people. They used to cultivate spirulina and they prepared different food products from it. And we also established one algae herbarium from the collection of our journey. And before that, my senior professors, they also collected many algae here. So I want to share this video with you just to show a glimpse of this herbarium, because I think this type of algae herbarium is very rare, very few in India. So we actually displayed for the students the different collection for my group and my this sir and other professors of this department. Thank you for your patience hearing. It was this is my journey as an algalogist. I think Renuka, now it is open for any question.
Yes, ma'am, thank you so much, ma'am. Ma'am, can you exit this?
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much, ma'am, for the inspirational talk. It was really great to have you here and great to hear about your academic journey on this occasion, and especially your outstanding contributions and your academic journey in the field of algal diversity and biotechnology. I can see like there is you worked a lot on rural development, especially spirulina culture, aquaculture, and also phytoremediation of metal contaminated sites, and on the side of algal diversity, the exploration of Sundarban, South Bengal, algal diversity of diatom cyanobacteria, and also in the field of biofuels and nanobiotechnology. And what I liked the most was the nanobiotechnology part, especially the food preservation chamber, which was really innovative, and also the bio nanochips. It is really great that you also have conducted memorial lectures for the development of students on the social point of view, and also to encourage algal research. And the most important thing, as you mentioned in your lecture, that most of your scholars are ladies.
Yeah.
And they are doing great.
Yeah.
So this is the inspirational take-home message for all the young women and students of our department, and also who have connected nationally and internationally, and also my young colleagues. That as Prof. Paul ma'am mentioned, that if we follow our passion, we can achieve anything in our life. So this is the take-home message from ma'am's talk. And also another thing is opt for research if you have a passion. So first you develop the passion for your research, and then you can succeed in research. So thank you so much, ma'am, for this enlightening lecture.
Thank you all for giving the opportunity to say about the journey,
Yeah. No, thank you. We are really thankful to you, ma'am. And now we are open for the question and discussion. I mean, we are open for the discussion. So maybe Manpreet can take up some discussion questions from the YouTube. Manpreet.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. There are some questions from the participant. First one is from Ritu Priya Singh. He wants to know how can the problem of algal cultivation on large scale can be encountered.
Yeah, actually, large scale cultivation, if you want to do this one, you have to initiate from small scale, because nowadays there are so many projects on algae biofuel and all. So people, what they do, they bring the strain from outside and go for large scale cultivation. Then there may be failure. But if you just adopt the algae, large scale cultivation means large scale adaptation. So in laboratory, in controlled environment, the algae can grow because everything is controlled. When you go for large scale, then you have to adapt stepwise from lab to just room temperature in small flask. Then you go to large flask, then in open tank on your rooftop, and then you go for land. That is all stepwise, and you have to take care in all steps, all steps. Okay. One question from Felix, I think, Dr. Felix. What type of challenges as women? Should I give answer? Yes. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
yes,
sorry,
yes.
we were muted. I'm sorry. Yes, so
Yeah.
my question is that what type of challenges did you face as a woman in your academic journey? Yes, I would like to know about that.
I told Felix in my initial stage that I didn't feel any problem as woman, because I never think me as a woman. I always think me as a human. So I didn't feel any problem, because we have some extra responsibility that we used to take. That is thing, because child care is my responsibility. Well, otherwise I didn't feel any problem, because my in-laws house, they know that research is my passion. I will do that. I can sacrifice everything for that. So they never told me that you don't do this, do that, and all. So they have also inspired me that you are doing a great job, you do. But If there is, I don't, it maybe you can say that you are lucky, not that. If there is some problem, if there is some barrier, then you have to overcome, just showing your seriousness. What I tell my student, you have to show your seriousness about your work. You have to show. All my, I told you, most of my scholars are, research scholars are girls, lady, and I don't know whether they are in the this seminar. You can ask them, it is better how I used to inspire them. They don't take it just it without any seriousness, you know. And I don't think, and now situation has been changed. What we were at 30 years, 40 years back, now situation is changed. All girls are now giving so much opportunities, even from parents, you know, that I can remember my mother used to say, when you will get married, you will leave research. My mother's opinion was like that, because she left her study after getting married. So her opinion was like that. But I said, why? If I can do, why I should give up? So I was there, and nobody actually thought that they will give any just what must I say? They will say, don't do that, don't do that, because they knew it. If they don't allow me to do this, then the result will be much more bad. That it is better to allow her like this. So you have to, it is your responsibility, the girl's responsibility, to give this figure of herself to his family, to her family. Okay, I feel so, because I used to go very frequently to field with my students, with my girl student and all. I never faced any problem, never faced any problem. But you have to plan properly. That is the thing.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Dr. Prashant Swapnil, he has a question for discussion. Dr. Prashant? Okay. So, ma'am, there is one point I want you to discuss here is, I know, like you told in your presentation that we should follow our passion. And yes, if we follow our passion, then only we can achieve anything. And another thing is the research point of view. If we have a passion for research, then only we should do research. But can you say a few words and just to motivate our students, especially the women, to take up research as their career?
You know, research as a career, I also thought when I got this young scientist, DST Young Scientist Award in 1990, that I will take research as my career. Okay. So I started doing this, but after sometimes, after 5 years, I thought research can't be a career in India. I do some job. I need some job. It should be teaching at college or university, you know, if you want, or institute, whatever. So, but nowadays in institute, recruitment is very less. So it is the problem to take research as a career. First thing, you have to choose a very good laboratory. You see the biodata of the faculties, in charge teacher, their publication, how they are doing, how that lab is doing. They, first thing, passion. If you have passion in research, then only you go. If you like to do, sometimes you may not get fellowship. Nowadays, you know, who are engaged in research, my scholars are also, their fellowship is coming after 1 year, 2 years, like that. That means you won't be able to stay lavishly. Instead of that, if you go for any job, other job, your life is secured. Many of our good students, they went for bank job and all after doing MSc. They were very good in their study, but they opted this bank PO. because that is life is secured. At the end of month, you are getting the salary. But in research, if you are in a project, in that case also, so financial crisis may come in research. That is true. So in my DST Young Scientist project, one project fellow was there. He was a MSc student. He was also very much fascinated to research. I can remember his dialogue. Ma'am, I have land and I have pond and I don't have any problem, monetary problem. So I will stay with you. But after some times, he got a job from this spirulina cultivation only in fishery department. So when he got the job, I said, no, you go for job. You are a boy. Don't actually do this. You don't come only research. You have to opt the job. He did very good. There's what I showed in this shrimp culture, this prawn hatchery. My student was officer, in charge officer there. Partho Chattopadhyay, his name. But problem is that he couldn't submit his thesis because he was so involved in that fishery laboratory, and he was this transfer job from here to other. So he couldn't do the PhD also. So research as a career, that means you have to join a very good lab where very good type of work is going on, and you are dedicated, you will be dedicated to that job. Then your guide will also take care of you. Your guide will also help you to establish. I had to struggle a lot because my guide died at that suddenly after my PhD. But and nowadays several postdoc in foreign countries, getting postdoc is much easier than our time, and the attitude is also different. Now my student Dr. P.R. Raichaudhuri, she is doing postdoc at Poland. She actually at that time when she left India, her son was 6 months old. Now he is 2.5 years, her boy. So nowadays girls, they are taking that challenge also. You have to take challenge if you want to take research as a career. It is not like other job. That is my message. So there are many girls who are ready to take this challenge, I know. So then only it will be successful for them. This profession will be successful for them.
Thank you, ma'am, for discussing this. And there is one of our master's student, Asima. She wants to know that, ma'am, you said that girls are not more interested in research. What major steps are needed to be taken to promote girls towards research and to enhance their curiosity level?
Did I say that girls are not much interested in research? No, I didn't say that. I said girls, sometimes girls, they not girls, girls and boys both. I am not gender biased. I am not at all gender biased, I say. But after marriage, the girls have responsibility much more. So who have passion, who knows that I will be able, and this is tough also to run your laboratory and your family. Laboratory is also another family, second family. If you don't think your laboratory as a family, as a home, so you and the lab mate or your family member, you won't be able to do good research. So that is a challenge that those girls who will be able to take that pressure, they will come. Girls are very good researcher. I don't say that I told many of my students, and I have another student also. I won't say her name. He will be very angry on me. She was very good researcher. She has very good publication and all, but she went for school job, school service. She said, no, ma'am, I want one job which is very much, sure service. That. So this depends upon their attitude, That depends upon their attitude.
Yes, I agree.
I told now I took research as career and I got my job at the age of 39, 40 हो जाएगा तो job नहीं मिलती. 39. Because it is not easy to get a good job. After doing good research, you will get university job or college. And if you go to college service at your young age, then it is very difficult to do good research. That your good research will end there. So it is a balance. It is a doing balance is the main thing, for a researcher.
Me and I was also discussing with Professor Felix one of the days, and he also was sharing the same experiences. Like he also has some of good students and who opted for other careers
Job.
rather than job. Yes, and rather than coming into research. So, and they were good in research.
Yeah.
So that is the
what I feel in Indian scenario. Though I am not in a position to think, I am not in planning commission of science. I am member of different science and technology committee. But that net, the students who are securing net survey exam, they are very good. Government is actually giving good amount of fellowship to them. But after that, after 5 years or after 10 years, their job should be secured. Then only one girl or boy can give their best. You may put some criteria that he or she should have the publication about 3 impact for 5 or 6 or 5 papers, and then research associateship also should be assured for them. Well, after 5 years, after getting 38,000 or 40,000 fellowship for 5 years, then there is a great vacuum. What they will do? If they get any job, they are shifting there, because research associateship is also not assured for all net students. But government is actually giving much money. I used to tell my student that your PhD award means 25 to 50 lakhs of rupees. Not only your fellowship on this contingency and all chemicals. What is the output? So researchers should be very serious, but on the other hand, government should also think to nurture them. Otherwise, how good research will come? No? If you don't have food, then what research will come? For girls, for us, for me, I say, or for girls who are get married, sometimes they do their research of their money in against of the expense of her husband. But that should not be the process. That is one of another problem for living research. After doing very good in at doctorate level, then they are going for other job. So that should be a national policy.
Yes. I agree. Yes, we need steps from the government towards this side.
Now, sometimes in UGC, I think circulated that any NET or NET candidate or CSIR or UGC NET, they can apply nationally for college or university at college or university level. I told my students to register, but no call they got from other states. Suppose in Punjab University, some posts are there. So all over India, good students can go, but it is not there. Okay, till that it is not there.
Ma'am, there is one of another student, Himanshi Gautam. She want to discuss about, ma'am, one of the environmental issues of Sundarbans is known exploitation of natural resources. Ma'am, do it cause much disturbance in algal biodiversity?
Yeah, of course, because the Sundarban, their main problem is they are producing the fish pond, destroying the natural flora. So fish pond and for their population is growing for their habitat. So whatever destroying of habitat is there, so algal biodiversity will be lost. That is natural. But in fish pond also, that eutrophication is high. So some algal blooms are coming, what I showed you in my slides. So we are actually taking those biomass for preparing the food and all other biotechnological product. But biodiversity point of view, it is totally, nowadays it is a problem. Though now fencing has been started to avoid tiger encroachment. So biodiversity is maintained there. But problem is that we are also unable to enter to that islands, but just to for study purpose.
Thank you, ma'am. Also, I will conclude with these two of the comments from the students. Jayanti Singh, she's saying that thank you, ma'am, for sharing your journey. It's collectively the millennials' responsibility to make it worth by leveraging STEM for the global good of mankind.
Yeah.
So there is another student, Ashru Mochan Malik. He's saying that thank you, ma'am, for reflecting back the reality and challenges of the research field away from the seemingly or glorious perceptions. This will shape us for the upcoming challenges.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, whatever you want to take the message to the student, you find out your passion, what you like to do. Not that if my friend is giving net, I will also give net. So if I get net, I will join to a lab. But I don't like doing research. Research, sometimes you may not get results, no? So I can remember when I joined there, my guide said me, you will do bending pattern in algae. It was very tough line. So 1 year I didn't get any result. I was frustrated. So after that, I said, sir, it is very challenging. You give me some other problem also, by which I can get data every day. So then I will be very happy. Like this. So that challenges, who are ready to take challenges, those come to research. And in research, sometimes there are monetary problem. There will be some monetary problem. That is also you have to consider. And if you are very good researcher, then no problem. There won't be any problem. You will achieve the goal.
So thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you.
For your enlightening talk today. It was really inspirational. And I'm 100% sure that our students, especially our women students, they will really be inspired to take up research as their career. But anyway, whatever they will be taking, they know what I think now what they have to do. So because the most important thing which I liked the most in your lecture was follow your passion.
Yes.
So yes, so students, please follow your passion. So I will say word of thanks on the behalf of Department of Botany. So first of all, I would like to thank Professor Ruma Pal ma'am first for agreeing to deliver talk in such a short notice. And also when you have recently recovered from COVID, we know.
Yeah,
so thank you. So thank you so much, ma'am. It was our privilege to have you here. I would also like to thank Honorable Vice Chancellor Sir and Dean in Charge Academics for allowing us to organize this webinar. And I also want to thank Dean Research Anjana Munshi ma'am, Professor Monisha Dhiman ma'am, and Professor Amandeep Kaur ma'am, and Professor Sanjeev, my respected senior colleague, for gracing this webinar with their presence. And also I would like to thank Professor Felix Bucks, head of the Department of Botany, to encouraging to organize this webinar. Last but not the least, my dear students and all the participants and my students who have been connected nationally and internationally on this platform for their active participation in this webinar. So thank you very much all,
Thank you.
and thank you so
Thank you.
much, Professor Ruma, for ma'am.
Thank
Really,
you. It is also a privilege for me, and I was really happy to share my journey. Very few people wants to know. The scientific lectures always we used to give, but it is a really good experience for me also. Thank you. Thank you all.
Yes, ma'am. Now we will stand up for the national anthem.
Okay.
Jai Hind. Thank you, everybody.